So honestly, I was gonna wait until I was in like a better mood or whatever to make this video, but then I realized who generally who really listens to Radiohead when they're in a good mood, right? Um, of course there are like a few standout tracks, but generally um, this band makes you feel like shit a lot of the time. So I guess it's like fitting, you know what I mean, to talk about this now. So yeah, I will be ranking the Radiohead albums from I guess worst to best in my professional opinion, and I guess like it will be like how much I at least like currently enjoy them one over the other, like with a mix of like how actually how much musical merit, and like actual like you know how good I actually think the album is, like apart from my personal taste. It'll be a mix of both. I don't know. I haven't really thought about exactly where I'm gonna put them yet. I have an idea, but I'm just gonna feel it out. See where the road takes me. My credentials before we start. I have little to no actual musical talent or background. Um, but I have been in the top 0.1% of listeners for the past 4 years. They've been consistently been my number one. That doesn't really say too much, but I guess it's my opinion. And you're very welcome to tell me in the comments how wrong I am about my opinion, and we can have a discussion about it. And if that doesn't work, I can fly you out to where I am, and we can have a fight to decide it. So yeah, I'm not gonna waste too much of your time. Let's get into it. Just gonna talk. I'll try to keep it brief on why I put which album where, like how I feel about it. Uh, yeah, I mean this has no script, but here we go. Yeah, just a rundown of the tiers here. It doesn't really mean too much. Like obviously, it's just 1 to 9, and we're not doing the B sides or like the solo work here. Like, I guess if you guys wanna see that, I might do it later. But for now, we're just doing the main studio albums. Uh, yeah, in terms of the titles, you can have a look. Doesn't really mean anything. Just try to think of whatever quippy bullshit I could think of at the moment. So yeah, all right. And at the bottom, I think it definitely just has to be Pablo Honey. To I think no one's surprised. This is generally considered like a throwaway. The band themselves tries their best to forget about it, just pretend it never happened. Which it exists for a reason, right? Like they had to start somewhere. Um, but this is not the album that you want to be putting someone on when you want them to listen to Radiohead. It's like just super generic rock, sounded almost like anything else out at the time. You know, I guess like they definitely had the mentality of wanting to appeal to the masses here, to put their foot in. They definitely hadn't figured their sound yet at all, and like you can't blame them, right? And it's the thing is like it's still not a bad album, like it has its good cuts. It's just I barely find myself going back to it. Obviously, it has Creep, which like at a base level is not a bad song, right? It's just the popularity of it and the infamy that it has absolutely like ruined it. You can't really listen to Creep anymore, and you shouldn't be generally unless you're doing karaoke, right? So yeah, I don't really need to speak too much about Pablo Honey. Uh, and then honestly, from here on, it becomes a toss up. It becomes very difficult to place one album over the other because like it my opinion is like almost constantly shifting, right? Like, one week I can fucking prefer Amnesiac over Hail to the Thief, right? um like it shifts a lot. So like this is just currently, I guess, what my gut is telling me, right? So next, I think does have to be King of Limbs. This I guess wouldn't shift too much. Uh, I understand what they were going for with this album. Um, it's just that a lot of like the messaging and it doesn't really land. It doesn't land for me. The album doesn't really do too much for you, like emotionally or like as a casual listening experience. And even if you're like focusing, like there isn't like it's just not to the quality that the rest of the band's catalog is at. There are like some very interesting like instrumentals and backtracks, but like as well, like from Tom himself, like not his best singing performances. Not the band's best instrumentals. It does have like a vibe that it's going for, that like kind of eerie, like I don't know, metallic, like off, strange vibe. And it does do that quite well. Like there are a few like standout tracks from it, like maybe two that like I do generally listen to or like I don't skip, but I can't say that it's an album that like I love too particularly much. Um, but like Lotus Flower is like a standout from it. Yeah, I might be like naming like one or two songs and like what every now and then, but um, yeah, I think there's not too much to say about the King of Limbs. Just kind of like a swing and like kind of an air ball, Um, there. All right, and next, and from here on is where it gets fucking tough. Here, like people's opinions will differ like greatly, but mine is that it has to be Amnesiac. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a friend, I know she's gonna kill me for this, but it's Amnesiac. And it's not because Amnesiac is a bad album, because it's great, right? Like it is really good. Um, Pyramid Song, like Knives Out, like a lot of these tracks are ones that made me fall in love with the band originally. It's just that I just don't I don't feel myself revisiting it as much as I do the rest of the albums that are gonna be above it. Like I just don't think that it it's still good, right? Like none of these albums are bad. Like I have to say this again because I don't want to be shitting on saying put like because it's this low that it's bad. It's just that like I just view the other albums above as much better. And I think Amnesiac is kind of just a lot of the leftovers of Kid A. What they couldn't fit on the album, what didn't fit the album stylistically, or like have a spot on the track list. Because like Radiohead, they don't bloat their albums, right? Which ends up like making them, sound so refined. Uh, and I think with Kid A, they had so much material, and a lot of it was good. It's just that they couldn't fit it, and I think that ends up being Amnesiac. And like it's just hard because the songs that stand out are like brilliant fucking symphonies, right? But then you have like Polk Pull Revolving Doors, and like Dollars and Cents and stuff, which is not too bad, but like Life in a Glass House, like it's just songs that don't have too much staying power. They don't have much replayability and re-listenability. Like they just don't have that zazz, that that strength and that emotional like resonance that a lot of the other albums have, and that just like has ends up like leaving Amnesiac to have like a bit more to be desired as an album, right? Even though like some of its tracks stand out incredibly. All right, next it definitely has to be. I mean, not definitely right, but it's probably. Hail to the Thief. Um. Ah, is it Hail to the Thief? Yeah. Let me take a moment. All right. After some consideration, I have decided that it is Hail to the Thief. And that's just because I think the album above it just does what it sets out to do a little bit better. Um, and yeah, I like, honestly, I'm not really somebody that listens to music like, intently to like receive like political or like environmental commentary, right? Like obviously it has its place and it's definitely valid, and music for sure, should be like a medium for people to like express those like views and problems, like for sure. But I just don't think that Hail to the Thief really accomplishes that too well. um and it just doesn't serve to impact my enjoyment severely. Like the tracks that like I prefer, like that I do think that Hail to the Thief has some higher points. Has like Hail to the Thief's highs are I think probably a bit stronger than the album above it. But overall, as a complete package, I think it just falls slightly under. Slightly is the key word. But like I just think the tracks on Hail to the Thief are like that are like standouts to me are more the ones that are like more personal and melancholic, and more about the inner turmoil that that they face over like the societal commentary and stuff, like there and scatterbrain, 2 and 2 equals 5, where I end you begin, and even mixomatosis. Like I think those are more, even though mixomatosis is quite on commentary filled, but yeah, I mean, I enjoy the sound that they went for here. Um, it's definitely not them at their strongest, but uh, like a lot of the tracks are quite heavy hitting, quite sad. Um, so there is some power. It's just like, you know, the instrumentation here and the melodies in the backdrop, like they just aren't as strong on here as on a lot of the other albums. Even like, not as strong as Amnesiac. Um, but the lyrical content and like the vibes are on a lot of these songs. They do go hard at times, so it definitely ends up leaving Hail to the Thief here in the middle, in a middle-ish sense, right? Yep. And next, the one that I was teasing has to be a moon-shaped pool. A moon-shaped pool. Sadly, the last we've seen of them. It's been 9 years now, and I guess for the last four, I've been waiting every single day, especially this last year, since that tease that dropped like a month or two ago about them like fucking forming a new like you know liability LLP or whatever. I have all notifications turned on, waiting for a new album to drop. or like a new tour. Like I just want to see them live so bad. But anyway, Amunche Pool, right? I think as a complete package, like as a totality, it does a lot better than the rest of the albums here. Below it, um, the just the vibe that it's going for, the very melancholic, like somber, fresh, like it sounds like an advancement of the band, like in terms of like clarity, like I don't know as well. Like the album cover, just like it represents it for me very well. Like the album feels very white, very pure, very clean. The songs flow together very well. It's like it has this certain like somber, clean, and reflective style. As if you're like looking in a mirror, um, or like through a clean glass pane. um, you know, like the standouts. Like True Love Waits and even Burn the Witch, Daydreaming. Present tense for me is a very strong song. Um, and yeah, I mean, I wish I could consider like the live performance of True Love Waits here, but um, which I prefer. Quite like not too much, but I prefer over the one they ended up releasing, you know, on an album. But it is still good. I like what they did with it. It just has a different vibe to the live one, but yeah, overall, a Moonshade Pool, a good album. Uh, just a leg under the next. So here is where we get into a huge contention, right? The big four, the band's big four. Now these can change like depending on the fucking day, right? Um, and it's gonna be tough. So let me just have a fucking sip of water here before we get into this. All right. I'm also mentally preparing myself for any death threats I may receive if I rank someone's favorite album as last here, right? And this is like the title because, like, I guess, big three or whatever. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it does just have to be the Benz. It has to be the Benz. Um, I love the Benz, right? Like I love every single one of these albums like incredibly. And I forgot to mention, I do have a Radiohead tattoo. I have lyrics from from a song Tatted, and when we get to that album, I will tell you which one. But for now, um, the Benz. Why is it here? Um, I think the Benz was a breakthrough. Like, I mean, very clearly, it was a breakthrough for the band. It was definitely where they started to find their sound. It has like this rough, like, not rough, but like, grungy, like, rock aesthetic, that exudes like, you know, style and passion. There are like raunchy, like tough, like more like not generic, but like in line with like uh rock music at the time. They have those like banger fucking car ride, like head banging tracks, like Black Star or Just or The Bends, uh but then there's like these somber and deep, heart wrenching, you feel it in your gut. uh, Sad tracks that the band ends up like as well being known for, like Bulletproof or Fake Plastic Trees, Street Spirit. uh, and I think the band blends like both of those like sounds and sentiments super well, into making it feel like very complete as an album. It does have its weaker tracks, its weaker legs, but still, there's not. I don't, you know, I mean, definitely, High and Dry for me is a very overrated one. Planet Telex is okay, just like Bones, but those do end up dragging the album down a bit. But the highs are just so high. They're so high. Um, and like from all this glaze that I'm giving it, like how can it be at the bottom? Like it's just I think the other albums here just are just stellar. They're just so much. They're so stellar, and I think here Radiohead was still coming into them and still figuring themselves out. And that's just why it just ends up just the bends. Even though I love you, uh, you have to go at fourth, just shy, just barely shy. Um, all right, and number three. This is where I am gonna have to take a thought. I'm gonna have to take a step back. Ooh wee, ooh wee, ooh wee. Yeah. Ooh, it's okay, computer. It's okay, fucking computer. And if you had came to me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and said, Jamal, you're gonna fucking rank OK Computer as third in your Radiohead ranking, I would slap you in the face and tell you to go eat shit. But as time goes on and I listen to the band more and more, um, it's just I feel like I go back to it and I listen to it, a bit less than 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 the two albums above, just slightly less. Like I like is it the band's like magnum opus? Like I mean, definitely when it dropped, like this like cemented them into 100% you are future rock and roll hall of famers, like no doubt. The sound that it pioneered, like the sentiments that it holds, like the meanings behind the songs, and the vibe of like being scared of the future and advancement of technology, like is super prevalent. And even like the more introspective, melancholic, I'm using that word too fucking much, but like sad, like takes on the fucking album are so strong. They're just brilliant. The instrumentals are so good. The production is amazing. Like Tom's singing is amazing, across the record. But yeah, it's just it's pins and needles, under the next album, just pins and needles. Like and it's so hard to put it here because like when you have a song as strong as Let Down, it's like how could it be third in any ranking? But I mean, just personally, like as years go on, I find myself listening to a lot of like I guess the weaker tracks less and less. Like I still love like tracks like the Tourist and like electioneering and Lucky, and I still do enjoy them. It's just like like as time goes on, like my fondness decreases a little bit. It decreases, and I just I don't it ends up putting it in this third slot, for me. It just it it just a tad bit weaker. Like, I can't sing this album's praises enough. Like, it is brilliant. Um, it is amazing, and it's not just let down, right? Like Karma Police, Exit Music, no surprises, obviously. Paranoid Android, Airbag, like this. Maybe like track to track, this album it might be the strongest, but I don't know. It's just like personal enjoyment and strength is just it's pins and needles, right? Uh, yeah, feel free, come, like we'll duke it out. We'll throw boxing gloves on and get in a ring, but it just kind of has to go three. All right, here we go. LeBron and MJ debate. Um, yeah, I mean, like for number one for me, like it just. I mean, by picking my second, you know what goes first, right? So let me just uh, shove it in your face now and get it over with. Give it to you raw. Uh, it's Kid A. It's Kid A in the second slot. And yeah, what can I say about this album? Um, I think stylistically, um, what they were going for, it it works the strongest. Um, just the whole like dark, raunchy, like electronic synth feel that they have going on, like the way that they shifted their sound like almost completely and landed the mark like so strongly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, it is like super strong, right? But like also the weaker legs on here, like Tree Fingers, or like even the title track, um, Morning Bell. Yeah, I'm sorry that I have to eat my words, but we have to do this. Yeah, even though like the highs on Kid A are higher than you know uh OK Computer. Like I just as a whole, um like track to track, it is weaker. It's weaker than OK Computer, but the highs are higher. Like How to Disappear. That's the song I have touted. That I think is the best song ever conceived by man. Um, it's fucking, it's brilliant. I can get into that later, but that would take too much time, and I feel like this video is already gonna be way too long. Uh, so yeah, I mean that's the best song ever. I mean everything in its right place, obviously, fucking brilliant as well. Idiotech, I love to death. It's just such a feel good song. Like like feel good, but it's just so fun to listen to. Um, that's what a lot of this album is. It's like it's either like super like fun and engaging to listen to, or it's super depressing and sad, which also makes it like engaging and like fun in a different way. um, Motion picture as well is on this album, which is just fucking insane. Uh, yeah, I mean, really, like this can switch depending on the fucking hour, right? But fucking hell, yeah, it's tough. We'll keep it like this, just because like the weaker legs on here, like where they did kind of miss the mark, because like the drastic shift in sound, is just like how can you really expect anybody to fucking land it like as well as they did, you know? It's insane. It's insane. that they were that successful, and even the weaker legs are still great, right? So, uh, tough to say, but we'll keep it like this. And finally, at the conclusion, the magnum opus, the goat, In Rainbows. What can I say that hasn't already been said about this album? Not much. I don't think I've really said anything very profound about any of these albums. It's just how much I, fucking love them, at this moment. And I just have to say that it isn't really like a contention that In Rainbows is, I feel like, their greatest album. It is their Mona Lisa, their crowning jewel. Um, it's amazing. Uh, it's just fucking amazing. Like I feel like here is where the band like put a foot down, and I like it just it it shows that like they made this album like from their souls. Like it's filled with so much passion, so much like love and style. It's so like personal, like deeply personal. And I feel like that's why it resonates so much with everybody, because you can feel that. You can feel that like they weren't making a fucking album to 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 for hits and to sell records. Like when this dropped, they fucking dropped it for practically free. Like you could pay what you wanted, and if you didn't want to pay shit, you didn't have to. Like for an album of this quality, might be just the greatest album of all time for me. Because I mean, Radiohead is my favorite fucking, right, like, art, like music fucking makers ever, artists, ever. Uh, and this is their fucking greatest album, so it might be the greatest ever. But just song to song, just how it flows is so fucking beautiful. Like there are no skips. Like there is no skip on this album. Like maybe you could say like, you know like Body Snatchers and 15th Step, I guess. Maybe like you can say that the album starts out a bit weaker, but they're still great. Like they're still amazing, like fun, passionate songs to listen to, and then you get into Nude, which is just like a symphonic beauty, like a gut wrenching song, into Weird Fishes, which has like just like fuck me, Weird Fishes, bro. What do I even need to say? Like if you haven't heard this album, like I'm sure if you're watching this, like, either you're familiar or you're interested with this band, and and it's just such a fucking beautiful song. Going into All I Need, like back to back, you put these songs, bro. Fuck, these five English losers are cooking. It's insane. I guess Faust Arp is like whatever, but that's also like basically an interlude, right? Like it's basically an interlude and it's still good, you know. I guess House of Cards also like can be considered a bit weaker, but still a strong song, and then ending it off with Jigsaw and Videotape, like, fuck, it's brilliant. Like just the way that the song, that the sound, that this album can make you, can like shift you from feeling, energized and fucking, exuberant and fucking, happy and smiling, to just so deeply like depressed and retrospective and reflective, and it just like it speaks to the human soul. I feel In Rainbow speaks to the soul in so many ways. Um, it's fucking brilliant. It just is. Uh, yeah, please go listen to this album. And it's them at their best. It's them at their peak. Um, so yeah, I think that's it. Here we have it. Again, this list can be subject to change. Maybe in a fucking year or whatever, I'll come back to it. Uh, yeah, this is where I put them. I mean, looking like this could change, like tomorrow or whatever, but we'll keep that how it is now. This as well is like, really up for debate, but like this is just cemented for me. Like, at least like over the past year, maybe. Um, that's cemented for me for now. Um, so yeah, that was my fucking tier list. Take it from me, this is the definitive truth. If you disagree, you're factually wrong tier list. Uh, Please feel free to try to have a discourse with me in the comments, and I'll tell you how bullshit your take is. Uh, so yeah, if you made it here, thanks for watching. So yeah, that was my list. That's been me. Deuces.